Happy Wednesday. It is the 6th day of May, 2026. I'm Dan Kuntz. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Life Channel. We've got a busy show for you today, crammed full of gooey good stuff to get your Wednesday going. Forecast isn't looking too bad. It's very mild right now. It's 64 degrees. That's pretty warm. Still under the influence, I just made up a new word, under that ridge of high pressure just off the Pacific coast. That's what's been affecting our weather. But it's not a dome of high pressure. It's flat. Which means we're going to see a little short waves, little clouds come over and then leave and come over and then leave. The one thing that is consistent is temperatures above normal, oftentimes well above normal. But things are going to be a little unsettled for a couple of days, then we calm down just in time for the weekend. And the weekend forecast looks pretty good, but we got to get there first. News, lots, sports, big crowd at Leib-Off to fill to the Apple Bowl. Why not? Two very good boys high school soccer teams did battle, the Panthers and the Wildcats. For the second time this year, our cameras were there. Wenatchee won 4-1. Good stuff. Very entertaining match. We'll have highlights of that. Mariners, Cal Raleigh came back. He played yesterday. He didn't really have much to do with the Mariners' 3-2 loss to the Braves. A lot of prep scores. And in case you missed it yesterday, and if you did, what's the matter with you? We're going to replay the interview I did with Sandy Cooprider, Coop, who's putting together this big fundraiser for the Wenatchee Valley College Athletics Department, bringing in Kenny Mayne, the broadcasting legend, a Wenatchee Valley College graduate, for the Mayne Event on Saturday night. A lot of things going on this weekend. No lack of things to do, but you really should check this out. It'll be a lot of fun. Sandy will tell you everything you need to know in the back half of the program. Here we go, tour time with a very mild day. And, well, there we go, Rude Canyon. Haven't used that one in a long time. That's up right around the Waterville Plateau area there. That's one of those little pieces of real estate that doesn't get a lot of Douglas County fiber, and that's why Localtel has one of those Sky-Fi towers up there, so the folks who live in that rural part of our area can get high-speed internet, which works out pretty good. So good morning to our friends up Rude Canyon way. And that's a nice view there. Leavenworth says good morning. I think Mayfest is coming up, is it not? Manson has their Apple Blossom Festival, of course, this weekend, always the weekend following Wenatchee's big weekend. So, yeah, Leavenworth, which is going to get into the festival thing, I'm told. They're going to do a festival like sometime in October about the leaves. I'm really not up to date with what's going on in the Upper Valley. That is the Stamen Flats camera. That's from an angle we don't normally use a great deal. It's a pretty cool angle. Stamen Flats, of course, on your way up to Lake Chelan. It's the area just to the east of the Knapsail Tunnel. When you start climbing up the Knapsail Tunnel in 97A, up the grade through the tunnel, the big piece of real estate just to the right of that along the Columbia, where the railroad tracks go, is known as Stamen Flats, named after the legendary billiard player, Minnesota Stamen. Don't have any slides to show for you today. Oh, and then we'll do the Wenatchee Valley. Mac is mixing things up for me today. You're looking at a host that had 3 hours of sleep last night, Mac. Be gentle, please. From our friends at Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort, care, and community come together. We hit 84 yesterday. We'll be right around that today. We'll have a lot of sunshine this morning. It will give way to clouds later on this afternoon as the day progresses. As I said before, this ridge of high pressure is flat, which will allow clouds to float in over the top of it, and it's going to be rather windy today and very windy tonight. Sustained winds today at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, sustained winds at 20 miles an hour and gusts above 30, but the winds are also going to blow the clouds right out. And then we do it all over again. Today and tomorrow, as far as sky is concerned, we'll start out with lots of sunshine on Friday morning or Thursday morning, and then it will give way to clouds in the afternoon. So Wednesday and Thursday is very identical, today and tomorrow, almost the same thing. Friday, we'll see more sunshine than clouds. It's going to be very windy again on Friday. Basically, there are two main cold fronts. The first one is today into tonight, and the next one is Friday into Friday night. That's where we're going to have the pressure gradients tighten up a little bit, and no complaints about the weekend. Sunshine at 80, sunshine at 85. By the way, folks, we have had now 10 consecutive days with our afternoon high temperature above normal, and that 10 consecutive days could go into, say, 20 consecutive days. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's been a warm spring. Going to take a break and come back with your headlines. You're watching a Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Get ready to sip, sway, and celebrate at the Lake Chelan Wine and Jazz Festival, May 14th through the 17th. Experience over 35 live performances featuring jazz, blues, funk, and more, all set across award-winning wineries and scenic venues around Lake Chelan. Enjoy world-class wine, incredible food, and one-of-a-kind musical journey through wine country. Don't miss the Lake Chelan Wine and Jazz Festival. Get your tickets now at chelanwinejazz.com.
When life gets stressful, jumping into your passions can help you find your calm. Avoid vapes, which contain nicotine and can make feelings of anxiety and depression worse. When it comes to your mental health, choose what matters. Choose you.
Vape companies market vaping as a de-stressor, but nicotine can make feelings of anxiety and depression worse. 90% of those who quit felt less stressed, anxious, or depressed. When it comes to your mental health, choose what matters. Choose you.
At Colonial Vista Senior Living, we believe life is meant to be lived fully. Our wellness programs inspire residents to stay strong, flexible, and confident every day. Here, curiosity is encouraged, friendships are nurtured, and every activity is an opportunity to connect, create, and enjoy life together. We invite you to experience the lifestyle at Colonial Vista Senior Living for yourself and discover why so many call our community home.
"64 degrees. We'll have quite a bit of sunshine this morning, giving way to clouds later on this afternoon. Windy today, windy tonight. We repeat it all over again on Thursday. Morning sunshine, afternoon clouds, and then a gorgeous weekend coming up. It's just about 8 minutes after the hour. A early morning fire yesterday claimed the life of a dog in Malaga. It also displaced a family of 4. The Wenatchee Valley Fire Department responded to the call at about 4:58 yesterday morning to the 4000 block of Joe Miller Road. Fire Chief Brian Brett says that when crews arrived, the home was fully engulfed in flames. He said the fire appeared to begin near the back deck and then spread through the first floor and into the upper level. That caused a partial roof collapse. The home is considered a total loss. 4 occupants were in the home at the time of the fire. They got out without injury. However, the family's dog died in that fire. The cause of the blaze remains under investigation. A single-car crash yesterday morning on Highway 97A about 5 miles north of Antioch seriously injured 2 people. The Washington State Patrol says it happened at about 5:45 yesterday morning. That's when a 2014 Chevy Cruze traveling south drifted off the right shoulder, struck an embankment, and then came to rest on the uphill side of the highway. Driver Francisco Masato Paz, 23 years old, out of Orondo. He had to be airlifted to Harborview Medical Center in Seattle, as was his passenger, 25-year-old Moses Aparicio. Manson police were able to keep traffic moving. They alternated lanes while rescuers took care of the accident. The cause of that crash is under investigation. At Centennial Park yesterday, a small group gathered to march and bring attention to the ongoing crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women and people. May 5th is recognized as the National Awareness Day to shine a light on the problem of violence against Native women, 4 out of 5 of whom have experienced violence in their lifetimes. The march started at the New America Performing Arts Center and made its way down Wenatchee Avenue, ended at Centennial Park. Organizers say the goal isn't just one march, but continuing to bring visibility to a crisis that cannot be ignored. Several schools in the Wenatchee and Eastmont School District were named to the statewide 2026 Washington School Recognition Program for progress in key areas of student success during the 2024-2025 school year. There are 3 categories schools can be honored for: closing gaps, achievement, and growth. In Wenatchee, Sunny Slope Elementary School was recognized for achievement in English language arts and math, and Foothills Middle School for closing gaps. Eastmont's Lee Elementary was recognized for growth among Lee's white students. Improvement in ELA and math proficiency was in the top 10% of all the schools in the state. Sunny Slope, Foothills, and Lee have all been recognized by the same program, by the way, in previous years. Prepare your ears and get ready to listen with your eyes. Eastmont High School students are bringing back Sign Idol. It's a 2-night performance designed to celebrate deaf culture while making music accessible to the deaf community. The annual showcase is set for 7 o'clock tomorrow and Friday in the Eastmont High School auditorium. It will transform popular hits into fully interpreted stage performances, complete with costumes, props, and choreography. We had a chance to sit down with Mackenzie Johnson, who's Eastmont's American Sign Language teacher and club advisor, about the upcoming event.
So Sign Idol is a show that we put on every year. It's one of the biggest fundraisers we put on, and at first we decide a theme with my club members and officers, and then we grab songs from that theme and we translate them from English to ASL. Then we practice in my room, then we get on stage and we put that to lights, costumes, props. We move around on stage. So really the way I describe it is kind of like a musical, but all in sign language, and it's different songs that you'll hear on the radio or that you grew up listening. This year theme is music through the decades. So we'll start at like 1950s and we'll end with current times. I think it's really important to showcase their language in a big platform, that it's the main focus. You see a lot of the times where there's interpreters on the side, but this is really the only show where sign language it's the whole focus. It's everything in sign language, fully access for them. There's no language barrier in it. It's all in their language, and we get to do that for them because that's the reason why we do this. Because sometimes they don't get to see things that are in their language. It's always in a different language.
The most rewarding piece is definitely everyone's reactions after the show. There are people who have never seen any ASL before, and they come to the show and they're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was so incredible. I have no clue what you were signing, but like I could see it on your face. I could know what was going on. And so opening up this world of ASL to a whole new group of people is something that has been so special to me and holds such a special place in my heart. So I've been doing Sign Idol for 3 years now, and I started because I loved doing ASL. It very quickly became my favorite part of high school, but I also loved being on stage and performing, and so doing Sign Idol allowed me to combine all of the theatrical aspects that I love with ASL, which I became very passionate about, and so it was really great.
I think confidence. I see their confidence grow so much because, one, they have to fully perform and interpret these songs on stage so the deaf audience can understand them, but also like they learn how to perform in front of 500 people, 300 people for 2 nights in a row. I think they also learn responsibilities. You know, they have to be in charge of practicing themselves and really that time management, but I also see them just grow as a person.
The most challenging part has definitely been trying to reach everyone's expectations, my own included. I've been doing this for 3 years now, and every year I just want to be better and better and better. And so it's kind of these expectations that I've put on myself to keep going forward. And so meeting those expectations has been a challenge, but I always love to push myself.
I hope they take away how much the kids care, how much they love the deaf community and sign language, and how much I care about them. Just the fact, I think you really see how much we care about each other and how much we care about the language and how much the kids that's their passion. Some of them are going on to college to be interpreters. I hope they just see that these kids care. Our goal is always to be together as a community, and so that opportunity is always open in the future. Trying to just get, like, it's not just us, it's not just Eastmont, but it's like the deaf community. The deaf community is everywhere, it's not just Eastmont. So hopefully maybe in the future we can get some more schools together. I would love someday to do a big, Sign Idol, but that can be hard with scheduling and stuff, but.
And lastly, on this Wednesday morning, Lake Wenatchee Fire and Rescue is helping homeowners prepare for wildfire season, which never seems to go away. The agency has opened sign-ups for wildfire home assessments to help people make their properties wildfire resilient. According to the Insurance Institute of Business and Home Safety, and they wouldn't lie to us, wind-blown embers are the #1 reason homes catch on fire during wildfires. During the visit, a Lake Wenatchee Fire and Rescue representative will walk with the owners around the home, try to locate areas that are vulnerable to flying embers. The assessment, by the way, doesn't cost you a dime and is free to all homeowners in the Plain and Lake Wenatchee area, which, by the way, is a very nice place to live. And that is the news on this Wednesday. Again, I'm going on about 3.5 hours of sleep, so please bear with me. The news tonight with a very well-rested Grant Olson. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. Stay in the loop, 5, 6, and 10 with the NCW Life Evening News. And don't forget, we are on Roku, Apple TV, Fire Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Peacock. I made all that stuff up. And Disney Plus as well. Now I'm going to get sued. We're not on Disney Plus. Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com, just to say hi. Coming up, sports, whether you like it or not. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Wednesday edition on the NCW Life channel.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you'd never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth. And a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
18 minutes after the hour in sports, Cal Raleigh returned to the lineup after missing 3 games. He probably could have just as well just stayed home because the Mariners didn't win. They lost to the Braves. The final was 3-2 last night at T-Mobile, yesterday at T-Mobile Park. Matt Olson hit the winning homer off closer Andres Munoz in the 9th inning. Spoiled a very good outing from starter George Kirby. Cal, by the way, playing DH, went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Here's the 2-1. Swung on, blasted, right field, he's done it again! Lightning does strike twice! J.P. Crawford! 2-run home run and the Mariners lead. 2 days in a row for J.P. A rocket!
Well, the formula for the Mariners so far in this series against Atlanta, a walk and a bomb.
Balls on the ground as he is known to do. There's another one on the ground. It's fair. Dubon shoots it right down the line. We are tied. A 2 RBI double for the Braves center fielder. And the hit streak is extended. 17 games now for Ozzie Albies.
Take him anywhere you can get him. Little backdoor breaking ball here, and good job by Ozzie. Stay on it, go right back up the box.
the ground. JP went over to second base to cover as the runner was taken off. Yastrzemski able to change directions and get the out. Tampa Bay.
2-1 from Munoz. Olsen out to left center. Rodriguez is back. There's number 301. And what a time for it. The Braves now lead it in the ninth. Behind the power bat of Matt Olsen.
As humble of a superstar that we have in our game, and Matt Olsen coming up big again here. Perfect timing, as you mentioned, for number 301.
Snipe with a single and a walk. 1-1 pitch. Ground ball. Ozzie has it. Braves win. They even the series in Seattle.
The rubber game of the series this afternoon at 1:10 on Mariners.tv. Brian Wu, by the way, gets the start for Seattle. Good seats still available. The rest of the American League West wins something like this. Athletics and Rangers lost. The Yankees, by the way, Yankees, have won 15 of their last 17 games. Astros snuck by the Dodgers. The Angels snuck by the White Sox. All right, the District 5 1A soccer tournament is underway. This was win and you move on, lose and your season is done. And here's how all the local teams did on the pitch. Moving on to the next round of the tournament. Cashmere, Cascade, Tenasket, Okanagan, Connell, and Wapato. Brewster season is over. Chelan upset by Connell, and Liberty Bell saw their season come to an end as well. So there are now 8 teams remaining in that tournament, and 7 of those 8 teams will move on to state. In the District 5 2A soccer tournament, Quincy season came to an end. They got nipped by Grandview. Ellensburg moves on by beating Othello. It was a great crowd last night at Leibofta Field at the Apple Bowl. The weather was perfect. These are 2 very, very good soccer teams with a great rivalry, and also a lot of these players on both Eastmont and Wenatchee pretty good friends because they've been playing club soccer for a long time. Something had to give. Wenatchee knocked off Eastmont 4-1. Sebastian Moraga and Daryl Geddes had the call right here on the NCAA Live channel.
Trying to keep it alive for the Panthers is Edward Carvajal. Beautiful header, golazo! Oh my word, Wenatchee strikes first. A beautiful header by Efrain Saucedo, and the Panthers take a 1-0 lead. Mr. Saucedo has a story to tell his grandkids for years. There's a long kick inside the box. The header, golazo! Golazo! It's the day of the headers. Osvaldo Martinez for the Eastmont Wildcats.
Off a long looping free kick off of John Carlo. Zane Randall didn't react, and Osvaldo Martinez got on the back of that, right to the back of the net, and we're even.
Bit of a battle. A short touch stays in bounds. Painting the stripe. Oh my goodness, this could be interesting. Let's see what he can do here. Inside the box he goes. Anthony Garcia shakes one off the shot. Golazo! Go, 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 go! Anthony Garcia for the Wenatchee Panthers, and the Panthers are back up 1. Chani and De La Cruz and Chani. Whistle, run up, kick the shot. Oh my goodness, way too powerful. Edwin guessed right, but Chani gets himself on the board. 11:36 left in regulation. Free kick for Wenatchee, and this second half has perhaps lost a step or two. The tired legs of the first half perhaps handing these 2 teams the bill, but still it's been a very entertaining contest between these 2 squads. Inside the box goes Paz. Is he going to be able to finish it off? Brady Paz for the Wenatchee Panthers. 11 minutes, 7 seconds left in regulation, and Wenatchee puts a bow on this one, Daryl.
Brady Paz with a nice flick from, looks like Chani, to his left foot, back of the net, 4-1. It's going to be tough for Eastmont to come back from. Like you said, those tired legs are sitting in. It's going to be a tough one to come back from.
Next to me is Carson Van Wey, defender for the Wenatchee Panthers. And Carson, welcome. Congratulations on the win. Now, the last time I saw Wenatchee was a couple of games ago the Wenatchee defense looked shaky. They looked tentative. They didn't look very comfortable in their own skin, if there's such a term in soccer. What made the difference today? What allowed you to play such a strong game as a defensive unit as a whole?
I think just what we've been practicing. I mean, we've been practicing a lot of how to move as a defense and how to change and shift and play out of the back, and I think that helped us control Eastmont's attack and get the win today.
Now, Eastmont has some really good players. We've seen them all year long. How were you able to neutralize them today?
Well, I played man on Leon, and then my CDMs and my other defensive group, a lot of my teammates came in and helped out and stayed in the zone, so they could help pick up the workload as well.
Okay, but this is for Grandma and Grandpa, so CDM is...
Central defensive midfielder.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And for me, too, I watch a lot of soccer, and I didn't know what he meant either. What does this mean? Wenatchee can finish no worse than second in the Big Nine, so the matchup is set for the district championship. It'll be Davis and the Panthers for a trip to state next Thursday. The only question is, will it be in Yakima? Probably, or in Wenatchee? Probably not. And in the other match last night in the Big Nine, it was Moses Lake nipping Eisenhower 3-2. The District 5 2A baseball tournament, one team is done for the year. That is Ephrata. They lost to Prosser. The final there was 5-4. Quincy stays alive. Othello defeated Sela. East Valley snuck by Quincy. Prep baseball, West Valley remains undefeated on the season, but the Panthers gave them a big tussle down in Yakima, the gateway to Wapato. West Valley knocked off the Panthers. Moses Lake came back to beat Eastmont at Dan White Field 9-7. Okanagan over Lake Roosevelt. Liberty Bell took care of Tenasket. Waterville Mansfield played 2 games in tournament play. They beat Cusick, and then they lost to Warville, but they are still alive for a shot at state. Prep softball scoreboard, doubleheader. Chelan rolled over OMAC. If you haven't been paying attention, the Chelan girls fast pitch softball team is like really good. Amara Cooley Heartline just swept Waterville Mansfield, who failed to score a run, and Tenasket dispatched Manson with no big issues. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Happy National Nurses Day today. And it also kicks off Nurses Appreciation Week, which culminates 1 week from today with the birthday of Florence Nightingale, perhaps the most famous nurse of them all. Famous people who were once nurses. Actresses Bonnie Hunt, Julie Walters, and Jennifer Stone. Tina Turner and Naomi Judd were both registered nurses, and country singer Paul Brandt was also at one time a nurse. I think he probably prefers being a country singer, makes more money. To all of you nurses out there, and they do yeoman's work, by the way, kudos to them. This is your week, not just your day. Let's do today in history. Finally, yeah, baby, Babe Ruth. On this date, playing for the Boston Red Sox, Babe Ruth hits his very first Major League home run. He was a pitcher. Of course, back then, that's why he hit ninth, because pitchers hit ninth. That was just the way it was. They eventually figured out maybe we should bat Babe Ruth a little bit higher in the lineup. Babe Ruth hit his first Major League home run on this date in 1915. The Hindenburg, it was on this date 89 years ago. The Hindenburg catches fire while trying to land, docking at Lakehurst, New Jersey. The most incredible thing, before we show you the very famous footage, I'll wait until after you see the footage. There were 97 people on board. How many died? I'll let you know after you watch this.
It's starting to rain again. The rain had slacked up a little bit. The back motors of the ship are just holding it just enough to keep it from... It bursts into flames. Get it started. It's fighting, and it's crashing. It's crashing terrible. Oh, my. Get out of the way, please. It's bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring mast and all the folks between it. This is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, it's like 400 or 500 feet into the sky, and it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the flame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the passengers screaming around it. I can't even talk to people. There's friends around there. I can't talk, ladies and gentlemen. Honest, it's just laying down massive smoking wreckage. And everybody can't hardly breathe and talk and screaming. Lady, I'm sorry. Honestly, I can hardly breathe. I'm going to step inside where I cannot see it. Charlie, that's terrible. Listen, folks, I'm going to have to stop for a minute because I've lost the voice. This is the worst thing I've ever witnessed.
You look at that, there were 97 people on board the Hindenburg, and you think, how did anybody survive? Actually, only 35 were killed on the airship, and there was one person on the ground who was also killed on the state 89 years ago today. 72 years ago today, Roger Bannister makes sports history, becomes the first person ever to run the mile in under 4 minutes, and here's how he described what happened on this date in 1954.
3/4 of a mile, the effort was still barely perceptible. The time was 3 minutes, 0.7 seconds, and by now the crowd was roaring. A 4-minute mile was possible. Somehow, to do it, I had to run the last lap in 59 seconds. Chataway led round the next bend, and then I pounced past him at the beginning of the back straight, 300 yards from the finish. I had a moment of mixed joy and anguish when my mind took over. It raced well ahead of my body and drew me compellingly forward. I felt that the moment of a lifetime had come. Those last few seconds seemed never-ending. The faint line of the finishing tape stood ahead as a haven of peace after the struggle. I leapt at the tape, like a man taking his last spring to save himself from the chasm that threatens to engulf him.
He was the first, I checked this morning, since that happened on this date 72 years ago today. About 2,000 runners have also run the mile in under 4 minutes. By the way, Roger Bannister held that record for all of about 6 weeks and then never held the world record again, but he was the first. And on this date in 1994, for the first time since the Ice Age, Great Britain and France were connected with the opening of the Channel between the United Kingdom and Great Britain, between the United Kingdom and France. Queen Elizabeth II was there, so was Francois Mitterrand. It's a pretty remarkable engineering achievement, and here's how it was reported on.
The Queen started her historic journey from the new Channel Tunnel terminal at London's Waterloo Station, aboard one of the Eurostar passenger trains that will eventually whisk travellers from London to Paris and Brussels in around 3 hours. Today, she was going only as far as Calais to meet the French President, Francois Mitterrand. Her Majesty's train entered the tunnel at Folkestone to applause from those on board. Emerging half an hour later in France, where the President's train was waiting at the platform in Calais. Safety normally precludes two trains travelling on the same line in opposite directions, but today the French and British locomotives came to rest nose to nose, feet apart. Welcomed by her host, the Queen joined President Mitterrand in simultaneously cutting a ribbon, officially opening the Under-Channel link. The project a year behind schedule and costing twice the original estimate of nearly £5 billion.
Yeah, the Channel opened on this date. It's been around for so long, people forget it was such an unbelievable deal. It opened on this date in 1994. Birthdays, the father of psychoanalysis, this guy, Sigmund Freud, somebody much smarter than I am. His works are still referenced by psychologists and psychiatrists today. He knew his stuff. Sigmund Freud, born on this date in 1856. Also born on this date in 1856, Robert Peary, who claimed to have been the first person to reach the North Pole. Most historians believe he actually didn't. He didn't keep very good records. Considered by many to be the greatest film auteur of all time, certainly a phenomenal director. Orson Welles' Citizen Kane is a regular view of mine, so is The Magnificent Ambersons. The legendary, if somewhat egocentric Orson Welles, born in the state in 1915. We lost Willie Mays about a year and a half ago. The Say Hey Kid, Say Hey. Willie Mays, one of the greatest, if not the greatest center fielder of all time, born in this state in 1931. We miss him. Why did it take Bob Seger so long to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That bugged me for quite some time, but he's in. He's been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for like a dozen years now, or even longer than that. Happy birthday to Bob Seger, the pride of Detroit, 81 years old today. He's now fully retired. And George Clooney, who has this unique claim to fame. He's been nominated for Academy Awards in 6 different categories, which ties him for the record with Walt Disney. George Clooney is now eligible for Social Security. He is 65 years old today. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsor. Going to take a break. You're going to hear from Mike McNaughty, and then in case you missed it yesterday, you get one more chance to get all the information you need for what's happening Saturday night when Kenny Mayne comes to town to raise funds, badly needed funds, for the Wenatchee Valley College Athletic Department. Sandy Cooprider, when we come back, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, when I did mental health work at the Chelan County Jail, I once asked the guy what he was in there for. He said, "Oh, I'm here because my wife called the cops." And I said, then I asked him if he liked being in jail, and he said no, he hated it. And I asked him if he wanted to come back, and he said no, of course not. So I told him, though, if all his wife had to do was call the cops and he got arrested, it was up to her, not him, whether or not he ever went back or came back to jail. But if he had the courage to man up and consider that what he did to cause his wife to call the cops and never did it again, and admitted that, then I told him that control over his future jail time or lack thereof was completely up to him. He probably won't do it, though, because it's a lot easier to blame somebody else for our problems instead of taking responsibility for our own behavior. Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
If you haven't already made plans for this Saturday, congratulations, you're about ready to make plans. And it's all for a good cause. The Wenatchee Valley College Athletic Department needs your help. They do good work. Time to pay them back a little bit. And Sandy Cooprider is going to make it worth your while because he got together with the starting quarterback for the Wenatchee Valley College way back in the mid-'70s. There's a gentleman you may have heard of. He spent 27 years at ESPN. He's coming into town Saturday night for the Mayne Event. That's a play on words, and here to talk about it live in the studio is my good buddy, Sandy Cooprider. Coop, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing awesome.
You must be excited about this. This has been in the hopper for months.
Yeah. We started December 1st, and when Greg got hired and was on board, we started having meetings, Greg Franz and I and Greg Sparling, and basically say, hey, we need to find a way to generate some funds and some, not just small, but an opportunity to kind of put an influx of some money into the athletic program. So I called up Kenny, which I usually do when I need something, and so I told him what we're doing, and he said, well, I've got something I think that you can do. I've done a couple of shows in Las Vegas, stand-up comedy. I think he even went back to Comedy Central back in New York, in particular, one time or two. And he says, look, I said, we put this thing together, the wiffle ball documentary, and I do a stand-up comedy. Ken Burns helped produce it, which is, if anybody knows anything about films, he's a big producer. Ken Griffey Jr. is in this documentary. And he said, look, I'll donate all the proceeds. You get me out here, get me a place to stay. I want to bring my daughter and her boyfriend because, they've never been to Wenatchee, believe it or not, and so it's an opportunity for them to come and see him perform. And so, it just kind of started from there. And this is an event that once we started getting everything kind of organized and making some plans on how we're going to do this, it started to morph into a bigger event than what you anticipate. And this is something that you like to plan at least 6 months out. And we're doing everything within less than 3 months. And so it's all coming together. It's one of those things about this community, when there's a need, they step up. And so we've got some fantastic sponsors that stepped up. We've got some pretty awesome silent auction items, but I think the opportunity for people in this community, because this is very unlike something that we bring to Wenatchee. And and he brings his dry sense of humor.
His errand is what it is.
I mean, he's just funny. Talking to you earlier, when I text him, he texts back one word or 2 words. I have to figure out what he's talking about, so I text him back and then get 3 words.
So some things really haven't changed since 1977. This thing that you're talking about, this documentary, this wiffle ball documentary, it's important that we stress this because Kenny mentioned this to me when we talked via Zoom a couple of weeks ago, I should say. You can't find it anywhere, and Kenny can't screen it for commercial purposes. There are some rights holders and some licensing issues, but Ken can screen this documentary for a private audience, which is why this is the only way you're going to be able to see this wiffle ball documentary, and it is really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty awesome how he put this together, and just kind of a little bit of history about him when he was a young kid. All of us kind of grew up playing wiffle ball. The yellow bat and the white wiffle ball, and you make your boundaries, whatever they are. We used to do home run derby across the line with the wiffle ball, and so it's just an opportunity for him to, I think, document how he saw wiffle ball when he was growing up, and he's got some, pretty unique little stories that go along with it. So, and I think more importantly, it's what he stands for, not just being a comedian, not just being a sportscaster, but he's also somebody that's put together his foundation that really goes out and helps veterans, and it's really interesting because, he tore up his ankle pretty badly when he was at UNLV. And so it kind of hindered him all through the time that he was growing up, and he was very active. He wanted to play this and do that, but his ankle, would prohibit him. So I don't know how he found this company. I think it was through one of his friends, but it's a company that's located in West Seattle, or on, I think it's more like Vashon Island, whatever it is. And so he just started talking to him. I said, I'd like to be able to experiment and put together some kind of a brace to help veterans so that they could have a much more normal life. And so they came together and they did some experimentation. He was the guinea pig. All of a sudden they put together this brace where he could actually walk better and run. Because he can't wear normal shoes like we can because of the unfortunate injury that he had with that ankle.
You've been in the face of Wenatchee Valley College athletics for decades. I don't want to age you. And I know for a number of years, up until the hiring of Greg Sparling, what was happening with the college athletic department was painful to you. I could see it. I talk to you all the time.
Yep.
It was a revolving door of who's in charge, financial mismanagement. It was the Wenatchee Valley College athletic department fell in some pretty hard times. And along came Greg Sparling, who's brought a whole new energy to that wing of the campus. And this is when you stepped in and said, Greg is going to turn this place around. We still need to give him some help, but Greg is the guy to do it because he inherited a mess and he's doing a great job.
Oh, he's doing an awesome job. I call him the gentle giant, because he is. If you put me between Greg Franz and Greg Sparling, I don't know, I look like a midget. But I like his demeanor. Number one is he had to come in and he's got 5 brand new head coaches in 5 different sports. And they needed some help because, number one, a lot of them have never been a head coach. So there's a lot of unknowns for them. And so he was just trying to guide and put out all the fires and get everybody going in the right direction. That's all the daily things that you have to do as an athletic director. And more importantly, him and I have been everywhere. We've gone to almost 7, I think, or 8 service clubs. I've tried to introduce him with all the people that I know. I look back a year ago when I was doing the Bighorns, and it kind of was a prep for me to come out of retirement and help with the athletic program. And so as a result of this, he's had an opportunity to meet a lot of people, and I think a lot quicker than if he was trying to do it by himself.
And people love a winner, and he's got a lot of work to do there. But first of all, the men's baseball team is really good this year. They're smoking the competition. Good competition, I might add.
Yes, and they're right now. I think they made the playoffs, which that's really important. They're kind of in a battle with Spokane. Spokane are going back and forth. They have identical records going into the last, I think, 4 games. We have a home game on, I think that's our last home game when the Mayne Event is going on. And so, and that's sophomore night. And so there's a lot of things going on, but our baseball team, I watched them a few times, and I like the pitching, I like their attitude, I like their energy that they show. And Aaron is, he's been with us now, I think, for about 5 years, pretty close to 6 years. He's a hard worker, and you take a look at the amount of players that are still here. I think that's a testament to him as a head coach and how his players feel about him. And I kind of watch their practices, and they're doing out there having some fun, which I've always believed that when you're in coaching, you got to make it fun for your players, or you aren't going to get it done.
He's gotten a lot of really local talent, very good local baseball talent from area high schools, kids who might have the opportunity to go elsewhere to ply their trade and to continue their baseball career, and he's convinced them to stay in town and play for the college, and that's, to me, been the big difference.
Well, that's the hard part. That's the hard part, because a lot of times good athletes from this valley, would like to go someplace else. And I experienced a lot of that when I was the head football coach and as the head baseball coach. And, but once you get yourself established and that they know that you're going to be there for them, that does make a difference. And it's kind of, you have to work the system. You have to get out there and to develop a relationship. I mean, it's just like anything you do in life. If you don't work at it, you aren't going to be successful. That's what I like about Greg Sparling. I mean, he's willing to do anything, to change the attitude, change the way that I think that we are trying to get support for our student athletes. And we got a couple of goals that we're going to try to work on. I'm not going to stop when this is going. I'm going to try and help as much as I can. I don't want to step on his toes, okay? And, I've told him that. I said, look, I said, if I'm stepping on your toes, I don't want you stepping on mine, because
he's got bigger feet than you do.
Yes, he does.
Much bigger feet. He could could have just as he could have taken a look at it at the athletic department and said, why would I want to do this? But Greg said, this is a challenge and I'm up for it, and he's taken the challenge and he's done great.
Well, the thing that I like about him, it's a student athlete. It's the main focus. It's not about me. It's not about Greg. You know, the two Gregs. In fact, I get two Gregs mixed up. And then we got another Greg Wood from Pepsi. So we got a lot of Gregs.
You mentioned sponsors. We'll get to that in just a little bit. We mentioned the wiffle ball documentary. Again, this is a private screening. Katie can't actually show this without getting in any kind of copyright problems, which is half the reason you should go anyway. Outside of the wiffle ball documentary, which isn't particularly long, talk about the program on Saturday night.
All right, so we're starting at 5:30, okay, and there's an opportunity for a lot of people to still buy tickets and tables. We were signing table assignments yesterday. We're working on again today, and right now we've got probably close to 225 thereabouts, and we've got a lot of people that are committed to tables, but they got to pony up first. You know, it's not going to be a freebie, and so we're working really hard, you know, to get them. And you know, it's a job. I mean, and you have to go out and you have to sell this, and the people like what we're doing, and we're getting a kind of a late rush. You know, people are, hey, I want to do this now. I'm hearing about this.
Well, this is a last second town, Coop. You know that.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I've got a lot of my former players, even today.
And Katie's got some teammates coming back from those nice teams from the 70s.
Oh, definitely. And one of our good punters over the course of the time, Jim Gribble. I mean, I can't remember, but he was in the 40s, 42, 43, right around there, maintained that. And, you know, and Kenny just established some good friends. And I don't know if you know the story about, you know, I recruited him because his best friend came from Federal Way, and that was Don McCurley. And so he told me about Kenny Mayne. He said, yeah, he said he can throw the ball. So, you know, I saw some film on him back then when they had film, you know, not video, not, you know, whatever it is today. But, you know, I was impressed by him. He was about 6'3", but he was 175 pounds. And so I recruited him. He came. He said, yes, I'm coming. A week before, he calls me up and says, hey, Coach Coop, he says, I got to tell you something. I've always wanted to be a Husky, so I'm going to walk on. And I said, I paused for a minute, and I said, how can I deal with this delicately without, okay, I just told him, Kenny, I'm going to tell you something. I said, this is what happens when you walk on. You're not even in the varsity locker room. You're in the walk-on locker room, or anybody that didn't make the varsity. I said, you're going to be a tackling dummy. You're going to be this and that. And I said, you're going to call me in 3 days. I was wishing. You're going to call me in 3 days. I said, I want to come back to Wenatchee. So,
oh, and by the way, there was a certain quarterback by the name of Warren Moon who was starting for the Huskies.
Starting for the Huskies. Yeah. So about 3 days later, I get a phone call. He said, Coach Coop, you're right. I want to come to Wenatchee. And I said, okay. I said, and I start crumbling some papers. I said, I can't find your scholarship. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay, yeah, come on. And so he came. The first thing I did is I took him in my office when he came here. And I learned this from Frosty Westering after going to a sports psychology class one summer school. And, you know, he was talking about, okay, your kids when they come there, all right? And, you know, they're coming from everywhere, you know. And so all of a sudden, when they come, he sits down with them and says, hey, this is your big time. You make the best of it right now. So wherever you're at, that's your big time. And so I you know, pushed that heavily with all of our players, and that somehow resonated with him all the way through his life, and he still talks about that moment.
We're running short on time, Coop. One last question before we get all the pertinent information out of the way. You miss it? You miss it at all? I mean, the day-to-day blocking sleds and hot workouts in August.
You know, I mean, I love football. I mean, you know, I love basketball. You know, but I wasn't going to go anywhere on a basketball scholarship, so I had to figure out what was going to happen. And
well, you're vertically challenged. That was never going to happen anyway. But do you miss it? I mean, do you miss?
I miss the coach. I miss the kids. I miss the relationship. You know, the coaching staff is. Yeah, I had some pretty awesome coaches from. About 1980 until 91 when we dropped the program. I mean, take a look at Gene Baker, John Muriel, I had Paul Seal, Paul Preston. Yep. I mean, these are all names that people know in this community. And, you know, and if you don't have a good coaching staff and you don't let them coach, then you're not going to get very far.
Again, it is this Saturday night at the Student Recreation Center on the campus of Wenatchee Valley College. Let's sell some tickets. How do we go about doing that, Coop?
Well, they can go to gowbc.com. That'll bring up the web page, and there'll be a QR code on there. And so they click onto the QR code, and it should take them to another page with tables and tickets, donations, and that kind of a thing. Click on the box that says tables and tickets, and you can purchase online. And we've got quite a few people that don't want to use a credit card. Get a hold of me at 509-860-7216, and I'll take your check and I'll take it up personally.
Good food, music, adult beverages, not so adult beverages, whatever it is that you want to do. It's going to be a very entertaining night, and all of the proceeds go to the Wenatchee Valley College Athletic Department, who need our help.
And last thing I want to mention is a 21 plus, okay, that kind of a thing.
Yep.
And it's not a cashless. If people want to come at the door, we're going to be equipped to handle it. Okay, and so, basically I think it's going to be a fun night. We've got jazz music, we got Whiskey Trail at the end, so they can stay until after my bedtime.
They'll stay until the cops come and tell everybody they have to go home. Coop, it's good to see you, my friend.
All right, thank you very much for helping.
Stay in the studio. I still got to do the weather forecast. And by the way, it's going to be a beautiful weekend to play a little golf with Kenny.
Yeah, it will be.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional-grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Starting to see those high clouds float in. We'll do your complete weather forecast in just a second. But first, my live read for Pool to Spa Services. And it goes something like this. And again, I'm sorry I haven't memorized it yet. Upgrade relaxation with a Bullfrog Spa featuring the exclusive Jetpack Therapy System. Trademarked. For personalized comfort in every seat, visit Pool to Spa Services in Wenatchee. They'll take care of you, whether it's trademarked or not. I honestly don't know. So what we're dealing with here is that big ridge of high pressure. It's right off the coast of the Pacific, and it's a flat ridge. So it's a ridge of high pressure, but it's not a dome, which basically takes any weather system and bumps it elsewhere and keeps it away from us. So because of that, the occasional short wave will come over the top of the ridge at times, and it's going to dry in some cooler air, but really is dry air. And the 2 main cold fronts will be today and then again on Friday. And so today and tomorrow, the forecast is almost exactly identical. Lots of sunshine in the morning, clouds increase in the afternoon, and wind today, especially this afternoon with a high of 85. And then the wind will scour out the skies, and you'll wake up tomorrow morning with clear skies and windy conditions. And then it happens all over again. Lots of sunshine Thursday morning, cloud up on Thursday afternoon, windy again, and a high of 82 degrees. All we need to really worry about on Friday is the wind, but it will be dying down as Friday night progresses, and then no complaints about the weekend. How's that? This is gorgeous. Almost. How many weekends of this in a row now has been really nice? I think that maybe 4 or even 5 weekends consecutively of beautiful weather. 80 on Saturday, 85 on Sunday, 85 on Monday. We have had 10 straight days of our afternoon high temperature above normal. That will continue unabated. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye.